And we're back. It's time for your Political Maniacs, and just guess who tonight's maniac is. President Trump said that he could beat media mogul Oprah Winfrey in a presidential contest, but said he didn't think that she was going to run. Trump said he liked Winfrey, whose speech at the Golden Globes Sunday night sparked speculation that she would run for president as a Democrat in 2020. And let me tell y'all, it was quite a speech. Not only did it have the entire Beverly Hills Hilton on their feet, but I think it had a majority of the folks watching at home on their feet. I mean, I was on my feet. I actually recorded it and watched it back a couple times. It was well prepared, it was eloquent, and it really spoke to the issue of the day. Let's take a listen to an excerpt.
In my career, what I've always tried my best to do, whether on television or through film, is to say something about how men and women really behave, to say how we experience shame, how we love and how we rage, how we fail, how we retreat, persevere, and how we overcome. And I've interviewed and portrayed people who've withstood some of the ugliest things life can throw at you, but the one quality all of them seem to share is an ability to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even during our darkest nights. So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
I mean, the quote in itself was just so powerful from Miss Winfrey, and I mean, this is what she does, and I think she was in her element. I think the part that stood out for me was, so I want all the girls watching here now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And I think that is the point that fawns so much political. I mean, all the politicals are like, oh my, she's running, look at that, the new day on the horizon, that's the campaign slogan, all of this. And I love Lady O. I mean, if there's anybody in the world that loves Oprah, anybody who knows Richard Fowler knows it. I mean, if Oprah walked into the studio right now, I'd probably fall out this chair. And a recent poll that was done after the Golden Globes found that Oprah was 10 points ahead of President Trump if the race were to happen today. And I do think that she can beat the president pretty solidly. But before we even have a conversation, America, about Oprah being a candidate for President of the United States, I want to go back to a conversation that we had on this show maybe a month or two ago about the importance of trusting black women and why we need to hire black women and why we need to trust people of color when it comes to politics. Because before we can say that Oprah is going to be the great savior for the Democratic Party, our party's got to get some things in order. Because we can't always just depend on black people to save our party every time we drive off the cliff. Because I think that's what we saw. Barack Obama did in 08. Because in 08, I mean, really, take it from in 04, our party was in a really bad state. It was a very bad state. We lost to Bush in a race that we should have won because the economy was not doing that well. After 04, we had wars, we had body bags coming back every day, and John Kerry lost. And then, thanks to Howard Dean and the 50-state strategy, we had started to make some gains, and we had picked back up the House, we had picked back up the Senate, and then Barack Obama came, and Barack Obama was the hope and change candidate. He was the black guy beyond that provided America with hope and change, and he won. And he got the keys to an economy that was in a ditch, right? Our global credibility was at zero. Our economy was pretty much at zero, and he brought us back. When President Trump walks out this White House 3 years from now, our economy will, I don't know where our economy is going to be, but I can tell you that our global credibility will probably be at zero again. And so it is always African Americans that seem to be brought in to clean up the situations. maybe they think if Oprah comes in, she'll fix all the problems in our party. But we have got to fix the problems in our party before Oprah can come in and be some sort of great hope or great savior. And how we fix the problems in our party, Oprah can't do that. We have got to do that. And it starts by trusting black women and trusting people of color to get the job done. Let's talk about the Alabama Senate race. In the Alabama Senate race, African Americans turned out overwhelmingly and took Doug Jones over the threshold and made him the newest senator in the United States Senate. Period. They did the same thing for Ralph Northam, who is now the governor from the state of Virginia. And even though black voters did it every time, even for Hillary Clinton, one of the few demographics that voted for Hillary Clinton overwhelmingly in the last election were people of color, especially African Americans. Yet still, the party's leadership doesn't reflect the fact that African American voters stick with this party no matter what. If you look at our party's leadership, yes, you have Keith Ellison there. But if you look at the consultants, if you look at the people really running the party, if you look at the elected officials or the people who the DNC, our executive committee, you don't see black. You don't see enough black. I don't see enough people of color there. I don't see enough people of color being elected to run campaigns. I don't see enough people of color being chosen to manage ad buys. I don't see enough people of color being chosen to dictate strategy for progressive organizations. I don't see enough people of color running progressive organizations that are in charge of voter mobilization, voter outreach. I don't see enough people of color running labor unions. I'm having a real conversation with our party. So if we're going to sit here and say Oprah's going to be the next great hope for Democrats and the next great hope for the progressive movement, then we've got to prepare the movement for Oprah and not wait for Oprah to prepare us for the movement. And that starts by looking at who is in this movement and who is doing the work and elevating them to places of power where they can have the ability to get the work done. They've already got the skills. I can give you a laundry list of women of color, of men of color, of queer people of color who can do the work, who can run progressive organizations, who can run progressive movements, who can mobilize voters, who can educate voters, who can do ad buys, who can produce videos, who can produce ads, who can run independent expenditure campaigns, who can run super PACs, but are not given the opportunities to do that. And they're shut out each and every single solitary time. But they're asked to vote. They're asked to vote in record number. They're asked, oh, come out and vote. They're asked to do GOTV. They're asked to clear out their churches. They're asked to clear out their senior citizen homes. But they're not given the keys to the car to drive the party in the right direction, to drive the voter mobilization, to drive the ad campaigns, to drive how the money is spent. So, before the party and before all the enthusiasts begin to line up behind Oprah Winfrey as the next great hope for this party and the progressive movement, let's do a little bit of housekeeping and figure out why people of color aren't running the control room in this progressive movement.